Hey everybody, Sol here. I have only one rule here. If it's animated, I'll comment on it. Duck Spaghetti Factory Dumbbell Scrape Nose Clovers Genitals Nancy Kerrigan Pepper Spray. Yeah. I mean, I don't get it either, but, you know, that's what it says on the script, so I guess that's what I meant to say? I think. Hey, you know what? Those completely apropos of nothing words remind me of a show I should review. Namely, the Brak Show. I mean, was that the point? Was it supposed to remind me of reviewing the Brak Show? I mean, there are easier ways to remind me to review something than to completely fuck up my intro. The Brak Show is a 2D animated series that was preceded by a live-action animated variety show parody called Brak Presents the Brak Show starring Brak. The series was produced by William Street and Turner Studios and uses assets and characters from the 1966 Saturday morning Hanna-Barbera cartoon known as Space Ghost. The series aired on Adult Swim in 2000 with a total of 28 episodes in 3 seasons, though a single webisode was uploaded to Adult Swim's website in 2007, effectively concluding the series. Ooh, I'm excited to review this show, and I have been for a long time, and, well, in the wake of Mr. C. Martin Croker's very unfortunate and untimely passing, I think that this is a good time to do the review. I wanted to do it immediately following his passing, but due to scheduling conflicts, I had to push it back. But belying the sad nature of the reason for this review happening now, let's just take a big scoopful of the Brak Show, shall we? How does one describe a show like The Brak Show? Certainly one could describe it as a parody of early sitcoms, and that's true, but I mean on a deeper level. What is the goal of this series? What is it trying to achieve other than just wanting to make us laugh? Well, nothing that I can see, and that's why I think it's so charming. Oh, but I'm supposed to go over the plot here, right? Well, there's really not much to say. Brak, a happy-go-lucky adolescent with the features of a space cat, spends his days with his sociopathic mantis friend Zorak and a warmongering robot named Thundercleese, learning lessons from his father and getting into all sorts of hijinks. Or at least you could describe the plot of the first season like that. The second season is just an orgy of madness, whereupon it completely loses grip with its own fragile sanity. Personally, I find both flavors of this show equally tasty, but for different reasons. For one, I enjoy the parody aspect of the progression and think it's well executed, but I also greatly enjoy when the characters get to have their hypothetical leashes removed and just become crazy and directionless. Sometimes the most fun you can have is when you completely disregard the rules and just go on an insane bender. I actually did that a few days ago, and though I can't really remember much of it... yeah. I'm assuming it didn't end well. Now, for the characters, there's a very small, centralized cast, which makes it easy for me because I still have a headache from those few days ago. Whatever happened. I think I also have several knife aches. Okay, to kick things off, we have Brak, an affable, optimistic young man who's always chipper and constantly bursts into song. Though he's generally a very personable and sweet kid, his intelligence can be described as...
he's a wet match in a dark cave. He makes phone operators seem smart.
Brak is just so silly and upbeat that I can't help but love him. I don't know if I'd go as far as to call him cute, but he is quite charming with his naive nature and vivid imagination. It's nice to see a character that's positive and upbeat without it being related to a dark past or the like. He's just a sweet, funny old boy, and that's enough to put a smile on my face. On the complete polar opposite side is Zorak, a malicious, sadistic, unfeeling maniac who revels in the suffering of others. Zorak is Brak's best friend, though he only hangs out with him so he can manipulate Brak into doing things for him. Zorak is one funny bastard, because he's just such a complete and utter asshole to everyone. He falls into the same category of amusement supplied by characters like Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty, Sterling Archer from Archer, Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls, and Blue from Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends, in that he's so awful to everyone and has not even an iota of humanity in his spiteful body that he has absolutely no problem bringing in veritable dump trucks of hilarity. Next up is Dad. Yes, just Dad, a short, selfish Italian immigrant who spends all day reading a newspaper and spouting off ridiculous non-sequitur morals to his son just to get him to shut up for once. Again, much like Zorak, Dad is hilarious because he's a ginormous cockface to everyone he meets, including his own wife and son, and doesn't have 1 ounce of humility or empathy towards anybody. Even though he barely moves an inch, I still greatly enjoy everything Dad does. Then there's Mom, who starts out being just a simple, loving housewife with a bit of sass, but later adopts an inexplicable British accent and has much less patience for her husband's self-centered attitude. Mom is probably the least funny character on the show, since she mostly serves as the straight man to everyone else's lunacy, but other than a few choice moments, there isn't much to say about Mom. Also, there's Thundercleese, a robotic warrior who revels in combat and the killing of others. He also loves his lawn and takes very good care of it. While Thundercleese doesn't have a particularly strong presence in the first season, I feel he becomes much more amusing in the second season, when he gets more into the fray with the other characters and develops more of a personality. Overall though, I do think Thundercleese is quite a comical automaton. Lastly, we've got Clarence, a nerdy, wimpy young man who idolizes Brak and who has many insecurities and fears that cause him to do strange things. Clarence is actually quite annoying at first, when he's left to his own devices, but when he gets to be an underfoot character who is constantly hurt and maimed by the other characters, he does get a lion's share of laughs. Though I suppose I'm more laughing at his pain than the character himself. Now, there's one extra character that I know I'm leaving out, but I'm doing it for a good reason because there's absolutely nothing to say about him. Because all he does is...
Hey, right back at you.
Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna move on now. Now, in terms of the good things in this series, I have to say that this show is very much an acquired taste. If you like shows like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, or Space Ghost Coast to Coast, or Harvey Birdman, you'd probably enjoy something like this too. I guess you could use those series as a gauge to see how much you'd enjoy this one. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? Well, it doesn't matter because I'm not sticking around to find out! Just like the plot itself, it's kinda hard to describe what makes the Brak Show good. Oh, certainly it's extremely funny most of the time and has terrible, yet likable characters, but I think there's something else about it that endears it to me. I think that part of what I greatly enjoy about this series is that the humor doesn't come from body horror, blood, gore, excessive swearing, sex, racism, alcohol, and drug abuse, or anything else you'd find in your typical adult animated show. Its humor comes straight from the character interactions, in how they play off one another, creating wacky situations with an innocent edge that get warped through the jaded spectacles of parody, which is something I don't often see, especially in a low-key production such as this. The way it completely derails itself by the second season, I think was a smart move. Having the early sitcom parody slant to it is fine, but I could see it getting old pretty fast. So I feel it was a wise move to take the humor in a different, albeit totally unpredictable way. When you look at a series like this one, the first thing that comes to your mind is probably not stellar animation. Half the time, barely anything is moving on the screen. But compared to purposefully shittily animated shows like 12 Ounce Mouse, Brickleberry, or Angela Anaconda, this one finds a way to make the minimalistic style work for it in a positive way, even if I do wish there were a bit wider range of facial expressions and movements. It's simple in its animation quality, but that allows for the characters and their personalities to be more distinct. Its plots and scenarios are basic, but that makes room for more jokes and amusing dialogue. To sum up this point I'm trying to hammer in, it's a simple, completely esoteric yet unencumbered experience, and by the time you've gotten to know the characters, you can enjoy them fully when they start going batshit crazy during the second season. Not to mention the songs that Brak and the others sing are silly, but catchy for the most part. See what I mean when I say the show is hard to describe? But it doesn't matter because I'm not sticking around to make sure what I said made sense or not. I mean, the show doesn't make sense. Why should I have to make sense? Tired of making sense all the time. Anyway. Now, luckily I don't have any atomic bombs to drop on this series, and that's probably a good thing because, well...
'Cause I'm not animated to explode!
You lucked out this time, Brak. Yes, it's true that despite its plain exterior, I truly don't have many criticisms for this series. One thing I can definitely say does twist my nipples a bit is Clarence, who becomes much more prominent in the second season, and like I said earlier, is pretty damn annoying. And as such, he's only really funny when others are hurting him. To me, that's not a mark of a good character if they're just a tool. Still though, 4 out of 6 isn't bad. Likeable characters, I mean. Also, though the minimalistic animation complements the type of show it is, I do feel that having a few extra poses or facial expressions for the characters might have helped a little bit, since sometimes entire episodes can be comprised of only 2 to 3 movements from each character. And though I praise the completely abstruse nature of the humor, I do have to say that sometimes it's a little bit too esoteric for its own good. When complete absurdity becomes your only identity, it's important to have at least some semblance of a structure to keep yourself from becoming totally unintelligible. And sometimes I feel that this series doesn't know when to stop being crazy and just focus a little bit. It's kinda like the equivalent of an animation seizure, where you have no idea when the next time it'll start spazzing out will begin. Still though, none of these things are deal breakers in any way, they're just minor blemishes on a relatively greaseless face. And so I can finally get back to making sense with a look at my least favorite and favorite episodes. It's probably just as well too, because I think my brain is starting to melt. So luckily there aren't any terrible episodes throughout the entire series, but there is one episode whose grip on reality is so loose that one extra prod would send it right into the cackling, screaming, shitting your pants town. Maybe I'm not quite ready to make sense yet, but anyway, my least favorite episode is Sexy New Brak Show Go. In this episode, Brak opens a box of cereal, which gives him his own TV show produced by the Razia Profit Corporation. Yeah, so like normal, this premise is pretty simple, but the execution is bonkers as all fuck. This is the episode I think crosses the line from controlled insanity to licking rancid maple syrup off of a rabid chihuahua's shin insanity. Despite that, it's still funny, it's just a little bit too loopy for me. Okay, I'm determined to make it through this without going completely nuts. My favorite episode is Shadows of Heat. In this episode, Dad and Brak play a deadly game of espionage and intrigue with a mysterious man known as George Martinez, Hector Riviera, and the supposedly dead Rodolfo the Butcher. Now this episode actually ties for my favorite with another episode, Braklit, Prince of Spaceland, for the exact same reason. All the characters are playing roles that run alongside their natural personalities and are just liver-erodingly hilarious, but I also enjoy them because they're the best examples of how the show can keep its lunacy in check while still being as funny as if it hadn't. Again, kind of hard to explain, but if you watch the episodes, I'm sure you'll know what I mean. The Brak Show is like a person that goes off its meds halfway through its treatment. At first it's clean cut and simplistic, still achingly funny, but eventually it devolves into an experience akin to watching a creepy homeless person screaming conspiracy theories under an overpass. Both are amusing in their own way, and though I think the show could have benefited from a bit more variety in the animation, this is definitely one show I say is worth looking in on. I give The Brak Show. Three and a half eyes out of 5. So, The Brak Show. Is it watchable? Well, considering you'll only be seeing the same 5 or 6 backgrounds and animations through the whole show, I'd say yes, but it depends on who you are. Is it enjoyable? Yes, as much as watching the gradual devolution of sanity can be. Is it memorable? Well, it's kind of hard to say. I know most people they do remember Space Ghost Coast to Coast, but most people seem to sweep this particular show under the rug. And I think it's time to change that. I think it's time to bring the characters back for one last hurrah, and hopefully the world won't implode from all the craziness. Want to stay up to date with all the latest EyeofSol news? You can follow me on Twitter as well as on Facebook at twitter.com/EyeofSol299 and facebook.com/EyeofSol. I update them every day, so if you want to check out news on the show as well as updates, just follow the links here. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my review of the Brak Show. I know it came a little bit late after C. Martin Croker's passing, and I do apologize for that, but there wasn't really a way to fit it into the schedule properly, what with Halloween and all that, so it's late. But I did want to do a tribute to him because I really did enjoy his voice acting, and I wanted to honor his memory in my own way, I guess. If you liked this episode, I would appreciate a like and a share, as well as a subscription to my channel, because I really do appreciate that. If you want to check out the previous Sol episodes, you can see the annotations playing on the video right now. Or if you want to check out my various social media sites, you can see my links to my Twitter page and my Facebook page there on the screen for you, as well as in the description. If you have an idea for an animated series or movie you want me to comment on, you can leave me a message in the YouTube comments on any one of my social media sites, or just let me know in any way you can think of to let me know what you want to see, and I will add it to my list. Okay? Thanks again for watching everybody, and I will see you next week for the last series review of this year.
I don't think it's learned its lesson. Open the door, sucker. It's Zorak, here to kick your ass.